Make a motion that we open this meeting to open the bids for the McGuire Park parking lot and driveway.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the meeting, I need a motion. I'm making a motion, I need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Mike,
Yes.
Sue? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
First one is Benner Masonry Contractors.
Better Masonry?
Benner, Benner.
Oh.
For $189,750. 189,750. Next one is Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh is $208,300. That's $208,300. Next one is McVie Paving. McVie Paving is $150,690. It's 150,690. Next one is Ohio Paving and Construction. Ohio Paving and Construction is $184,200. 184,200. Next one is Perrin Asphalt Company. Perrin is $217,450. 217,450. Next one is Ray Boyd Construction Services, RAEBOYD. This is a test. It's like a birthday present. All right. This one is $261,368. So 261,368. The last one is Site Works Unlimited. That is for $196,862, 196,862. That's the
That's it.
list, that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept all the bids and send them to the prosecutor to be reviewed.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Roll call, Sue? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that we cancel this, or we close this meeting. Third.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue? Yes. Mike?
Yes. Okay. Smart.
It is.
Mike?
Okay, 8:00, let's go ahead and get the meeting started. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you so much, Lord, for making us aware from time to time that you're always there for us, Lord. I was thinking this past week of our leaders here that gather every 2 weeks and share good and bad alike and all work for one cause. And Lord, you've taught us in your word that you sent your disciples out to do the same thing. And Lord, as they gather, there's two things that I think we can glean from. One is that you always made yourself available. I pray, Lord, that our leaders know that they can always go to you and ask for help or share encouragement. But Lord, second of all, these disciples all lean and learn from one another. So help us do the same today. We ask your blessing upon this meeting. Let everything that's said and done bring honor and glory, not shame and discouragement, Lord. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Do we have any announcements or correspondence? What to say? Okay. Meeting, yes, we don't have anyone scheduled. Two, okay. Nick has to sign too. So you pass that down to Nick. Okay.
Oh, this one.
Is there three?
Yeah, there's three of them. Then paper.
Okay, minutes, I have not had a chance to review them. You guys review the minutes?
I would move that we accept the minutes as presented.
That's from May 29th.
May 29th.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, roll call.
Mike?
Abstaining?
Sue? Yes. And Nick?
Yes.
Okay. Purchase orders. I'm going to need a motion. I have not reviewed them.
Make a motion to approve the purchase orders as presented.
Second. Agenda addition. Sue?
So, roll call.
Yes. Okay, Nick
Yes.
and Mike?
Abstain. The same with purchase orders. We abstain, so we need a motion.
So moved.
Nick,
I'll second. Is that for warrants, you mean?
The purchase orders. Oh, yeah.
You skipped the agenda one. Yeah, so warrants, I'll second the warrants.
Okay. Sue? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Mike?
Abstain. I'm all over this.
Agenda now.
Yeah.
I move we accept the agenda.
Okay.
Or are there any additions or
I'm
changes?
gonna make, okay, Sue made the motion, I'll second it. Are there any changes or deletions? Okay. Roll call.
Sue? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Okay, now is the time for public comments. Please state your name before addressing the board. There's a 3-minute limit per person. We thank you in advance for being here today and for your comments. So we only have one person signed up. Clyde, did you want to be on here?
No, sir, I'll pass at this point.
Okay, thank you. Dave?
Yeah, 3 things. Sometimes when we watch the video of this meeting on the stream or recorded, it's hard to hear what you have to say. I think it has to do with mic placement and the way you sit. There you go. That'll be much better. Second thing, April the 16th, there was a meeting between the 3 of you and I think an attorney concerning limited home rule.
Yeah, our attorney's standing in the back there.
Okay. It was an interesting meeting. Some of the nuances that were raised got my attention. Chief Mosley brought up some interesting points. And there was a conversation between John and the attorney, as well as Holly had some takeaways about setting up meetings with other townships. I want to understand what has happened since then with limited home rule. And the third thing is, I think that this is a pretty important issue. I learned a lot from that 1-hour meeting. I'd like to learn more, and I'd like to understand what the 3 of you are going to do in order to keep residents up to date about the status of this and what you've learned. That's it.
So just to clarify, public comment isn't an opportunity for Q&A, but at the end in the closing section, if they want to comment on those things, they can respond. And we can follow up at a later time, but we do have your information. We can follow up with you as well. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for your comment. Okay, so do we have any safety concerns? Okay, no safety concerns. Okay, so we are going immediately into executive session for a conference with our attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action. Right. Okay, this date, 6/12/24, trustee Mike Kostensky moved to convene an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121-22G, for the purpose of considering the following matters. Mark this one.
Next page.
Number 3, conference with attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending or imminent court action. Except or as otherwise provided by law, no public body shall hold an executive session for the discipline of an elected official for conduct related to that performance of the elected officials' official duties or for the elected official's removal from office. If a public body holds an executive session pursuant to Division G1 of this section, the motion and vote to hold that executive session shall say which one or more of the approved listed in Division G1 for this section are for the purpose for which executive session is to be held, but need not include the name of the person to be considered in the meeting. The unanimous vote of the public body determines by roll call vote that executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment of expenditures of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project. This motion was seconded by,
I will second.
okay, so we need a roll call.
Okay, Sue? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Okay, so,
We'll adjourn to executive.
yeah, we're going to adjourn to we'll go upstairs to the room. And we want, who do we all want in there? We want Mark, Gaddetti, the attorney.
Yes, Rick, Bob Booth, and myself.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Dave, entertain everybody.
What do you want me to do?
Too many moving pieces. Okay, let's continue on with the meeting. Roy, where's Roy?
I think you went out to get the people in outside.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's on his way in now.
Oh, do you need to receive that?
Put down the time. Roy, you're on.
Oh, okay, all right. Nolan, come on up front. I'm gonna have some things. Trustee Nick, what is really straight, and real quick, I just want to thank everybody for coming this morning.
I need to move.
To Nolan's family, I'm trying to thank
I
everyone
don't know
out this
how to
morning.
wear a shirt.
This is
Green shirt.
kind of a big deal. We are really excited to bring him on board our department. This is one of the best parts of being a police chief is that being able to bring somebody in the profession. And excited to bring him on board. We have a growing community, good department staff, and really looking forward to what comes next. So, Nolan, Trustee Coy is going to lead your oath of office. Okay.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nolan Rumbler,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America.
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America,
The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio.
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Ohio,
And the rules and regulations of Brimfield Township.
and the rules and regulations of Brimfield Township,
And that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge and perform all duties
discharge and perform all duties
incumbent upon me as a police officer
incumbent upon me of a police officer
of Brimfield Township Police Department.
of Brimfield Township Police Department,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome on board.
Well, thank you, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and step outside and get some photos since we kind of got tight quarters in here. So again, welcome aboard and glad you're here.
Yes. Yep. Welcome on board.
Hey, Roy, you going on?
Yeah, we're gonna go outside.
Okay, so we'll skip ahead.
Yeah.
Okay?
If you do that, that'd be great.
Okay. Okay, Ron, we're gonna skip ahead to the fire department.
All right, fire department, this year calls of service, around this time, 2023, we had 760 calls, 2024, 795, so 35 calls. New business, I think most of the people here have seen it, but the exterior of the fire station in the park, the plants, the red, rock beds, the grass, has all been done around the fire department. So landscaping looks to be completed on the south side of the new building. I think it looks great.
Yeah, Ron, I stopped up and looked at it. They did an amazing job.
It really changes the way it looks on the corner, having it all finally done.
It sure does. Look great.
This Saturday, the FD will attend Touch a Truck. Also, towards the end of the month, we have our entry-level firefighters. They'll begin their paramedic class starting June 20th. I have a couple things here for board approval. Looking for approval needed on thermal imagers. We have a quote that has been sent over to John, but the quote is to purchase at a cost not to exceed $10,750 for thermal imagers. This will be for 2 thermal imagers, one currently broke, and the other one that we have is 12 to 13 years old. These thermal imagers are used, one for life safety, search and rescue, and overhaul operations for when there is fires.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase order of thermal imagers not to exceed $10,750.
And I'll second that for discussion.
So you got, what, 12 to 13 years out of the units?
Yeah, so the one that just broke, we bought new with 1213 when we purchased it, 2012 or 2013, I think it was 2012.
Technology's probably changed some since then.
It has, yeah. We've looked at a couple of thermal imagers, the resolution, the way they operate, they've improved quite a bit in that time. And they've actually come down in price quite a bit. They were a lot more money.
Has there been a conversation with the fiscal officer?
So an email was sent. I haven't been able to speak to John, but there was an email sent to him, so I don't know.
Should we do a thing where we wait till we get his response?
There was, it's out of his contingency funds for the FD, so the funding is there.
Oh, the funding's there, okay.
So my recommendation is we approve it if fiscal finds that the funding isn't there, then fiscal can hold that purchase order. Send it back to the next meeting. I just wouldn't want to hold up a life safety tool,
Okay.
so they can get them ordered sooner than later.
Is there one on every truck or?
On the 2 fire trucks, so 1213 and 1214.
Okay. Sue or Jenny?
Okay, to approve, Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Mike,
Carl, yes.
motion approved.
And the second approval needed is the resolution to proceed for the EMS levy in November. Again, this is a renewal, a 5-year. I have a paper here that could either be signed and sent back to Chief Lally, or you guys have seen that resolution to proceed as well.
So I would like to read resolution by title only, resolution to proceed with a renewal levy for a tax increase of the 10 mil limitation for the purposes of EMS, and then make that motion to approve the resolution to proceed with a renewal levy for a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purposes of EMS. So second for discussion.
Okay, I'll second for discussion.
So this was the one that we brought to the board back on May 13th.
Right.
And then it went to the prosecutor's office to proceed. This is just for a renewal. There's no increase on this. It's just going to be a renewal levy.
So same dollar amount. So we can never generate more than what it was
Right.
voted on, so.
It's not a
Just-
new increase, it's a renewal.
It's simply
We
a
already
renewal,
have-
simply a
So
renewal.
we're still only going to get the same amount of money.
So with
We've always
with
got-
more residents, the residents are actually gonna pay a little bit less because it's divided up between more people.
Yeah, as more houses come in, it becomes less money taxed on each property. Chief Mullally went through the budget, and the goal, the task I had for him, and he came back with the answer was, can we operate without doing an increase so we don't have to put additional burden on the residents? And he said, looking at the financials where he's at, he felt comfortable not asking for an increase, just doing this straight.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay, motion to approve, Sue,
yes.
Yes.
Mike.
yes.
Motion passes.
And that is all I have for you guys.
Well, thank you, Ron. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Admin.
All right, so as you guys know, we posted the zoning commission alternate position. We did have 5 applicants. We did invite 2 for interviews. Mike and I interviewed them this week. And we have approval needed to appoint Roy Mosley as the zoning commission alternate. The issuance of the per diem for serving in this role will be dependent on the opinion from the ethics committee regarding the ability to receive the per diem while serving as a police chief. We didn't want to delay until we get that opinion. So we will hold that per diem until we get the response from the ethics committee, and if he's eligible to receive it, then we'll pay him accordingly. And if he's not eligible to receive it, then he'll sign a waiver that he's not going to receive it.
Okay,
I'd like to make that motion.
and I'll second it for discussion, and that went through Mark and Eddie,
Yes.
so it's all.
He gave an opinion, and I also took it to the prosecutor. And they both said there was no issue with him serving in the role, but they advised that if we wanted to go for the per diem, it needed to go to the ethics committee.
We received a total of 5 applications, you said, with 2 interviews.
Correct.
And Roy really wants to do this.
I'm sorry?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay,
We're talking about you.
okay.
Okay,
He really wants to do it.
any more questions?
Okay, all right. For approval, Nick,
Yes.
Sue, Mike,
Yes,
motion passed.
thank you, Roy.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
And new business, so as you guys know, I've been reviewing job descriptions. I'm looking for approval to reclassify Kirsten Mitchin to fiscal and roads department assistant with a pay increase of $1 an hour with an hourly rate of $23.52 retroactive to April 1st. So Kirsten took over the roads department secretary work quite a while ago. We discussed at one of our recent meetings with some of the previous changes to the police staff, that if once we reviewed and updated job descriptions, we would make them to April as well. So that's what the retroactive date is. And in the folder online, you can see the comp data that I pulled. It kind of pulls a couple different positions. She's kind of in a unique position that she does a little bit of work in different areas. So I had to pull a lot of different comp data to come up with a rate for that. But based on the data, I do see she should get an increase of $1 an hour.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make that motion.
I'll second that motion for discussion. Are we gonna backfill that other position ever, where there was 2 of them in the fiscal office? Because we had the assistant and then Kirsten kind of more in that lead role. Is the idea to backfill that other fiscal position or just leave that empty for now?
I don't think there's a need for an additional fiscal position. At some point, we may talk about just a full administrative support role that, maybe serves, I know it was talked about before, kind of floats around in different areas, maybe police or fire at least, and admin, but I'm not sure that we need it in fiscal.
So really, this is reducing our overall payroll costs by combining
We
it
haven't
and
filled it, yeah.
kind of filling those 2 jobs together.
Yeah, and ultimately, Kirsten has assisted Dave with, I'll say, kind of administrative tasks, and I think as we continue to look at things, hopefully taking some more off of his plate, that could be done, that's not directly road related. So she has picked up additional work as well.
Sue,
Yes.
okay, Nick,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
motion approved.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we're gonna skip back to the police department.
Yep, thanks, Mike. I appreciate the accommodation for the swearing in on the agenda. I just had a couple of items other than that for this morning. Touch a Truck this Saturday, obviously we'll have staff and vehicles present for that event. I think we're picking up the Metro SWAT vehicle, which will be there as well. So looking forward to that event, always a nice turnout. Wanted to give you an update on officer hire. I know we swore in Officer Romer this morning, but we do have a second candidate that's also in the process now to fill a vacancy as well. He's wrapped up his academy next week. He's already completed some steps of our process. He just has a couple more steps to complete, and barring any issues with any of those following steps as part of his background, I'll probably be coming to you next month for that. So just wanted to give you an update on.
He's in the academy, is that?
Yeah, completing the academy. That's correct. Yeah. So more to follow on that piece.
Now, this officer you just hired, what's his history? Has he been a?
He is a graduate at Kent State University, went to the University of Akron for his academy program. And he just completed that really just a few weeks ago, completed his state testing. So he's coming right from the academy, right on board with us. He also played football at Kent State. He also played football for Michigan for a brief amount of time. So we're not holding that against him.
That would have been a game changer.
I told him to get his Buckeyes gear on, but he's got stories to tell about that experience. But yeah, But anyway, that was an update on the officer hire piece. The only other item I had for you this morning in my report was requesting board approval to enter an agreement with Dr. Robert Palmieri for our officer wellness initiative for all of our staff in the amount of $6,000. This is a follow-up to the request for qualifications that the board approved last month for the wellness initiative we wanted to put in place for all of our staff. That was sent out to 11 area providers for that RFQ. We got responses back from 2. One of the 2 said they really thought it was applauding the step, thought it was a really great thing to do, but they just weren't able to accommodate the services this time. So the recommendation I'm bringing to you is Dr. Palmieri. He is providing similar services for the Kent Police Department and the Kent Fire Department, and he came very highly recommended, and I included that recommendation documentation in my package to you. So I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have on that before you may proceed with approving that or not approving that.
Well, I'd like to make a motion for discussion to enter into an agreement with Dr. Robert Palmieri for our officer wellness initiative for all BPD officers on an amount to not exceed $6,000.
And I'll second it for discussion.
I reviewed that packet. I will say that based on the work that he's done already with Kent and other outreach work he's done, and those letters of support, I think it's going to be a good fit for the uniqueness of what we're looking for to be able to respond to law enforcement wellness compared to just general.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, there was really good supporting documentation there about his past experiences and his work with law enforcement.
So what we would do here is it's just for a 1-year period. We're not committed to anything beyond that. We'll have an opportunity to kind of evaluate it after 12 months and see what we like about it, what we may want to tweak, what maybe we want to adjust, but we don't have any commitment beyond the 12-month period.
What's the initial feedback from staff on this? Is hesitant, okay with it, mixed bag?
Maybe a little bit of a mixed bag, but mostly I think everybody recognizes the concept. Look, officer wellness is a hot topic. You know, it's a hot topic and has been a hot topic, and they're talking about it at the state level. They're talking about it at the national level. We need to take care of our people, and that's my responsibility as a chief to do that. So that's why I really thought this would be a good, prudent, proactive step to help our staff in a unique way and put another tool in our toolbox.
I know the FD has started to look at it too, so I think they'll be interested to hear feedback from you about your initial experience.
Okay.
Because I think it ties well into the type of experiences they have also.
Okay.
I would like to add that we put in the motion that it's for a 1-year period. I don't think that was in there.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
Put it in for 1 year.
Sure.
Also, you know, I watch these crime channels. That's all they have anymore. And I see the things that people get into, that the police are there. And I'm thinking, and I know those things happen for real. Although a lot of times they've got a little script in there a little bit, but situations like that do come up with people. And I think Brimfield being able to offer this psychologist person to help our police officers, I think it's a good step it's in the right direction of protecting everybody. Like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Mike.
Yes.
Yes.
Sue?
Dan?
Nick?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I have for the board this morning.
Thanks, Roy. Okay, now we'll jump up to zoning and economic development.
Thank you. Once again, thanks for the approval of Roy Mosley. He's going to be an asset to the zoning commission. We're looking forward to working with him on that board as well. Our permit fees to date is $115,384.60. It actually says 523. That's up 611 of 24 is those numbers. New business, our Pride One Apartments on Town Square Drive started stripping topsoil for the 103 units. Utility work will commence in the next couple weeks. They started stripping. We had a small delay. ODNR requested a study of snakes in the area. They thought there was an endangered snake from the bog over in that area. So we had a short delay, but they didn't find any of those snakes. So they did continue to strip topsoil. They're going to be hauling the topsoil out here for the next week or two, and then utility work will commence from there. Kenda Tire, which is approved almost 200,000 square foot, started their framing and their masonry for the structure. Things are going very well there. I met with Campbell Construction, and I meet with them at least once a week to see the progress. And the owner has said we're going to roll right into phase 2, which is another 200,000 square feet. So we're looking forward to them coming in. Jarrett Fleet is going well. The addition looks good. The sign looks good. We're happy to have Jarrett Fleet going ahead and expanding as well on Mogador. Sheets is now approved, and we approved them before. We're just waiting on ODOT in Portage County for the curb cuts and the traffic studies to be completed and everybody to approve those permits. They're slated to start July 8th. They are on the agenda for the Board of Zoning Appeals, so they can start on that date prior to the ODOT and county curb cut approvals. They would like to get started on the site while that process is going on. But that concludes my report.
So the traffic light, when are they putting that in?
ODOT has verbally gave me, I was in a meeting with them, they gave me verbal confirmation that the light will be actuated. It looks like all the numbers from their initial traffic study will work. They needed to tweak those and have them do a little bit more further study with Euthenix Engineering. And the county as well is looking into getting rid of the island on Sanctuary. That's going to have to come from the prosecutor's office. There's an agreement that I found that was in place from years ago. That's going to have to be revised or something worked out between the two. But the tanker trucks will not be able to take a left turn onto Sanctuary without hitting the sign. It's in the way. So
And Drug Mart, when are they scheduled? You said in the fall?
they're in the fall. They just did their geotechnical and that came back well, and they're working on their traffic study. They were out last week. I don't know if anybody's seen, but there was a car sitting there, and that guy was actually counting left turn and right turn movements, and that's for the light.
Great. A lot going on up there.
Yeah.
So,
Is there any updates on the temporary vendor permit change? I know that we sent that back to the zoning commission for review.
No, not yet. We have a zoning commission meeting Thursday. I'm going to see Todd is coming, and I don't know if he didn't submit any information for us for the board yet. I know they went back to regional. Regional's supposed to be doing the due diligence and coming back to the zoning commission. Todd, I did speak to him a couple days ago, and there's some things going on at regional planning where they're a little bit delayed right now. So.
And was there any updates on, we talked about putting that food truck park in, how's that project coming?
Same thing. That was part of the same study. The zoning commission gave it to the regional planning, they wanted to know how many parks in the area, and then to study the other parks, get all the data back to the zoning commission for how the other parks operate, hours of operation, where they're located. And they basically asked for spreadsheets on both the permitting that you just asked for. They're asking for a whole spreadsheet of the whole county and what all the townships and what all the cities are doing. And then as well as the food for temporary vendor park.
Okay.
And how that is operated. I know off the top of my head, Independence has explored this and Beechwood has one. And then the major cities like Cleveland and all that have.
Hartville had one going for a while too, so that might be a place to reach out to.
Okay. Good.
okay.
Thank you for the update.
Sure.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. I have an opinion. Ready? On this Kendon Tire that's coming in, it's a 200,000 square foot building, absolutely huge for employees. So I'm thinking about this, and our school systems here, we have a very good reputation of our schools. And so with that, I'm thinking, well, we could graduate these children, they can go to Kent State and Akron and keep them here in the community while they get higher education. But they have this higher education, and where are they gonna go? They're gonna go away from Brimfield. So we put all this money into our children over the years, and by the way, I have no children. And we put all this money to educate these kids, and then they grow up and they leave. So there goes our community. So with these 300 jobs coming in, these people taking these jobs, they have to have some place to live. You don't live in Canton and drive every day to Kent back and forth, because there goes your profit of your income. So we have to look far enough into the future to be able to make it so that our kids want to stay here. They want to come back and they want to give to the community and give back what we have given them. as the parents. So, I know we need affordable housing, not cheap housing, but we need good substantial housing for these people that are coming in like Hamrick and the Kendra. So that's my idea of, I want our children to stay here with us. That's it.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, road department.
Yeah, morning. Well, I might as well start out right off the bat with, I need board approval to approve, using OmniPro as the inspector for our 2024 Portage Common and Highway View Resurface Project and our 2024 Chip and Seal Project at a cost of $28,599.
Okay, I'm gonna make that motion.
I'll second that for discussion. OmniPro is the one we've used in the past, correct?
Yes.
They're-
We've been using these kind of firms now for the last 5-6 years, which.
They actually save the taxpayer money by making sure we get what we order.
Right. Well, no, they're on site. the whole job.
Yeah, no, they've been good in the past few years that we use. I just want to make sure it's the same company still.
Well, we go back and forth between QCI and OmniPro.
Okay.
I know, your roads look great, so. Okay, Sue, you have any discussion?
No.
Okay,
Okay, Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
motion pass.
All right, thank you. Just a few updates. We've been doing some ditching and road mowing in the road right of ways. We removed the extra barn stones from the fire department, and hauled them over to McGuire Park.
Was there a lot of extra snow or?
There's 2 truckloads. So, plus, I think there's still some hid behind one of Ron's buildings over there. They're on college, so we didn't want to
Yeah,
mess
there
with them.
was some over there.
Yeah, but we just took the ones to get them out of the landscaper's way. So we just got all that out of the way.
Mike, I was gonna say, we might want to leave the ones next to the barn right now because they could potentially be used in that park between the library and the town hall too.
Yeah, we're
Instead
not,
of taking them all over to McGuire.
Yeah, what do you-
yeah, we're not gonna touch them ones. Them ones are just gonna stay there. Until, like I said, until everybody figures out what's really happening.
We'll need Cassie to figure out where she wants it.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay, that's a good idea, Nick.
Just also to let you know, me and Kirsten will be at pre-con meetings tomorrow. We have for both jobs tomorrow with the county, starting at 9:30. Just to give an FYI to the residents, I got a phone call from the railroad company, Wheeling, forgot their name. Howe Road will be closed June 24th through the 29th for a railroad crossing to be fixed up there between Sunnybrook Road and Pleasant Lakes Drive.
They're working on that ramp.
Well, yeah. It still might be a ramp when they're done, but they're gonna rework on that section. So I just wanted to give everybody an FYI, they just called the end of last week. They will set detours up, which it sounds like between the county and them, the detours it's gonna be a long one. You're gonna have to go all the way around, down to Talmadge Road, back around Margaret and that stuff. So,
Will it be completely closed today to emergency traffic too?
Yes.
Everybody's gonna drive around.
no, everything will be shut down.
24th through the 29th?
Yes.
We'll have to make sure the residents know.
Yeah, they're supposed to, like I said, they'll be putting signages up and stuff. So right now, it's kind of been kicked back over to the county because they'll be using the county roads for detours, so. I mean, you can still get to Pleasant Lakes from Howe Road, but you just can't cross over the bridge to Sunnybrook.
Right.
Dave, also on Howe Road, I've been seeing, like, I don't know if they're telephone poles or what's.
They're redoing the electric all the way through
Okay.
places, so, electric company's been having guys out doing tree work, taking down a bunch of trees, and they're getting ready to, I don't understand them phase things, but they're actually updating their electric through Howe Road.
Okay.
Kind of like they did down Malloy and
Yeah,
all these other
yeah.
places.
Good.
Okay, and that concludes my report.
Thanks, Dave. Cassie.
Well, good morning. So the first item I wanted to bring to the board today was approval for the rental of inflatables and attractions from Barker Family Entertainment for Brimfest in the amount of $13,483. I know that seems like quite a bit, But we are going to get a few more items from Barker this year in lieu of the video game trailer and axe throwing trailer. So we have subbed those out for a mechanical bull, a Euro bungee, and a inflatable joust. We also added a few hours this year of operation, which contributes to the overall price. And we have also already received $4,000 in donations towards these things. So that detracts from the prices also. You should also have in your report, I did get 3 quotes for the different rides, and they were basically not even close. The one quote that we received for the same items in the same hours of operation was $31,440, and the other was $16,800 for one day. They couldn't even guarantee me the full operation hours for Saturday. So, and a reminder, these prices include the prices for the attendants that will be there throughout the entire event and the generators, so.
Okay, we aren't gonna have liability with the mechanical bull, will we?
For that one, they have a dedicated attendant and everyone has to sign a waiver, so.
Well, I have a question. I see here that we've had a couple businesses in town make a donation to offset the cost of this. When a business does that and make that donation, is that a tax write-off for them? Since we're a government nonprofit?
It's usually an expense, so it would go against your profit. I mean, there's.
I mean, for them, for that company
Yeah, any
itself.
business, I mean, it's all about expenses and I mean, if you make 100,000 and you donate 80, so it's a $80,000 expense, so you don't pay tax on it.
Well, I just wanted to talk about that for a minute
I
because
mean, it's a good tool for.
I would really like to see more businesses come in and donate. And help us cut our costs to offer the community a really upscale type brim test. So if y'all have extra money, just send it to Kathy.
I don't see why not. We received a $3,000 donation from RJ's and a $1,000 donation from Apollo Heating and Cooling. And then we also have some other pending donations that are coming in. So.
Do we
That's
need
good.
board approval to accept the donation so that it's in the? How does that work?
Any resolution is good as the next one, so I don't see any reason we can't accept it. Just make it.
That way it's just documented where the money came in from and it gives recognition.
Yes, thank you, Joe. So,
Do you want to, we could just bring them all together at once? So like, once and we have all the donations and just bring a list and you guys can approve them, does that work? Instead of doing them one at a time?
Yeah. Because I just know we've accepted other things that have been donated to the community. We've made like a motion and accepted. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
just
keep
as long as
track
we-
and bring it before Brimfest.
yeah, as long as we
Put it all
want
together.
to stuff.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think they should have some good recognition for being part of the community.
Yeah, and Cassie does a good job sending them letters and, we do banners for them. And so we'll absolutely do the recognition,
Okay.
but we'll keep track on a list and then bring them all together to do a board resolution.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve
I will make.
in
that
the
motion.
amount of $13,483.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make that motion.
Second,
Thank you.
So just for quick discussion on it, Cassie, other than the bull riding, what else is in there for that kind of that tween teen experience? Because we have a lot of those kids to come up too.
Yeah, let me pull up my quote here.
Well, the bungee sounds fun.
So we had all of the inflatables that we've had in the past, as well as the inflatable joust where you have the big like Q-tip looking things and hit each other with them. Yeah, and then the Euro bungee and the rock wall. I know the rock wall was really popular with like the teen crowd last year.
And there's no cost for that?
So that's something that we were talking about also. There may be some costs. We were thinking maybe the mechanical bull and possibly the rock wall. But we haven't decided about that yet. And it would be a very minimal cost.
And those proceeds would come after the township? We did
Yes.
that.
Yep.
So what you're extending the hours until 10 p.m.? That's good.
So last year we didn't open the rides until I think, excuse me, there's a mosquito flying here. I think until 2, because I was under the understanding the parade was gonna be later. And then it got bumped up, so we didn't start till later. So we'll be starting the rides at 11 a.m. instead of 2 p.m.
And it'll go till 10 a.m.
Yes.
Okay, good. 'Cause at one point I remember almost everything shutting down and there was still a lot of people there.
Yep.
So, okay. Any more discussion?
No.
Okay,
All right, Mike,
yes.
Sue, Nick,
Yes.
motion.
Okay.
Okay, the next item, so we've been having some discussions about the maintenance at the town center fields, specifically the grass growing. It's been getting very patchy, just from wear and tear. And we were discussing how we wanted to proceed with that, whether we wanted to do, more grading work over there, like basically trying to find the root cause of what's causing all of the patchiness. So we were discussing adding some seed and also possibly doing some leveling. And with the driveway or the parking lot project this spring, we weren't going to do that at the same time because we weren't sure exactly how that was going to work out. I certainly didn't anticipate that being done in 2 weeks. So we had a discussion with Tom Nader from Field Youth Soccer, and he would be comfortable with us closing the field for fall in order to get that renovation work done. So that's what we would like to do going forward. And then we're going to have some, I think, future discussions about that because there's a possibility for some other soccer fields to be open and available to them. So we're going to get into a regular maintenance plan over there and discuss some future possibilities, how we want to proceed.
Well, with the future possibilities, I mean, he's just putting all this money out and then, I mean, they gotta use that field.
Yeah.
People
Well,
have to use it, it'd be just a waste of money.
yeah, because I think initially there was some discussion about doing some like more major renovations, but then I think we're gonna, after talking to Tom also, he was comfortable with us scaling that back also and just making sure we're keeping it level and seated, which would be fine.
Well, I took a walk on it and I mean, it looks like it's thickening up.
It is thickening, but there are still some patchy areas, which when Holly and I talked to him yesterday, and he said he'd much rather us close it and get the grass thicker than to use it again in the fall.
Yeah, it's pretty rough for soccer when we walked it. There's just a lot of bare spots. So when we're playing soccer,
From those kids kicking out the grass.
well, and it makes for trip and fall hazards. You're starting to get into safety concerns when you have all that patchiness because it is so inconsistent. So understanding that, these fields may only be used for a couple of years, we're just gonna look at kind of the minimum maintenance, like grass
What's our plans
seeding.
after a couple of years?
I don't know. Let us bring that to you. I don't want to make any announcements that haven't already been announced. So we can communicate and share as things are approved, but we do know that there is a very high possibility that in 2 to 3 years that those teams will be relocated. But I don't know that we're in the position to make that announcement yet.
Yeah.
So with that, we met with Tom just to say, hey, he was also aware of that and just say, okay, where are we at? How do we want to do this? And at least maintain it so it's safe to use and a good playable field. And I think that's where we'll look at some grading in the price and just do some seating and leave it at that. We no longer need to work on
It would sure be
a crown.
It sure would be a great place for a rec center. I mean, with the weather Ohio has, I mean, that Talbot rec center is amazing. So just throwing it out.
Yeah.
I think my only concern is that we discussed this back in the fall, and we're just now making action on this in June. I'll talk with Tom later today to get his feedback from it, but, there's a lot of kids playing soccer, and not having those fields. I can tell you from a scheduling concept was difficult this spring. Township money went to Talmadge. We were paying Talmadge to rent fields. And I hate to see our tax-paying parents here sending their money to another community. I'm just confused a little bit behind why we took so long to take action on this when we could have secured somebody in the fall time, started to work on this early spring. I mean, those fields are set back a good 30, 60 feet from the parking lot, with where the fences are. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point, but it is concerning that we have 250-ish kids playing in the springtime. Fall time will probably push over 400. It's a lot of families that it's a struggle.
How many fields do you get up there at Sunnybrook?
We have 1, 2, 2, maybe 3, depending on what we're playing.
Do they do any more at the German American Club?
We looked at that, but they wanted fees that were pretty high that the association couldn't take on. We used the side field, which is what kind of helped us this spring at the middle school. But I believe the marching band used that, at least they used to, so I don't know how it's gonna fall this fall. But what we had to do is rent fields because we had to have designated locations to turn into the league for games.
And so then during baseball season, there's no way they can use, that's right.
We'll be looking at this time now, just because of the dual use, of the fields and the danger associated with it. But we'll be looking into that for next spring.
And
So
then
what's the-
one other question, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, I know there's all different age groups. I mean, what's the possibility about the little light kids being able to play part-time on the soccer fields?
It was the recommendation of our risk management and our insurance to not do that.
Because what they do is a lot of times we'll inlay 2 fields. So like you can do a big field and inlay a small field, so you can like rotate practices and games that way and get dual use out of the field. My other question then, Cassie, is what's the deadline that this soccer association needs to meet to rent the baseball field outfields? Because that should be priority to them this fall.
Yeah, he actually already contacted me about it, so we can get that going now.
Okay, I just want to make sure they don't miss that deadline.
Oh, yeah.
Ron, you got connections with the Cleveland Browns. What about,
Oh, yeah. I just give them my money to watch them lose and sometimes.
Okay, well, yeah, I just want to see something going on. We got a beautiful parking lot now for what?
Well, we did discuss with him, do you want to play? And we can, look at these plans for the future. And it was his, he thought it was best to go ahead and move forward with the seating so that it's in better condition for the spring. He had also hoped it would have already been taken care of. He expressed concerns that he thought the seating might have happened already. But, we said, well, how would you like to proceed? You can use the field in the fall. We can look at the spring. And he said, just do it now. It'll be hard to find the other fields and it causes its own issues, but he'd prefer that we go ahead and take care of the seating so they can have it in the spring.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you looked into risk management. I guess anymore you got to do that, so. Okay.
I guess the second question then on that, do we need to do another contract with them? Do they need to use the goals or is that contract still good?
Was there an end date to that?
I believe there was, but maybe we can just
Okay,
extend
we
it.
can extend, yeah. We'll take a look.
Gosh, I don't, Dave, I'm just throwing this out there. Don't yell. We did get all that, the new 5 acres for the cemetery. Is there any flat spot that we could create for practice?
I've never really looked at the property, truthfully.
I mean, it might be driving by. I mean, I remember losing golf balls over there.
Yeah, I don't, it'd be something, we'd have to look at. I like I said, I don't even know where the property boundaries are.
Well, the part that's overgrown, that's us.
That's pretty much that whole place.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just a thought. I mean, it'd be nice if we could somehow find a place for them just to practice temporarily. I mean, what about Cranberry Creek? Is there any spot up there?
There's some flat land, but the land is so close to the road and there's no fencing that I'd be worried about them being able to hit it. Yeah,
No,
How soon is McGuire Park parking coming in the roadway?
well, that depends on the company, I guess, depends on when they're gonna start. I think we estimated end of summer.
I think, well, so I know Mike Wolin was here because he designed it. It'd be a question for Mark because they're working with the legal team of just making sure everything gets signed over.
That's true.
And their lender has to sign in order for the plats to be recorded. And we're just holding off on that. So they really can't start until the lender approves everything.
Since if we were done by the end of July, beginning of August, could there be some flat land back there that would be utilized too?
There's a flat land in there.
Yeah, what about the Skipper Group? They got all that property that's not up by McDonald's.
Cassie looked into that, I believe, the Skipper Group property.
I did, yeah, I did look into that and they said they would not be comfortable with them playing there just because of the liability.
Okay, well, McDonald's is right there. Kids would love it.
Yeah,
So, okay, well, let's keep thinking. I mean, whatever we can do to make it help. So, okay.
And then just a couple informational items. I didn't put it on my report, but it was already mentioned that Touch a Truck is this weekend here at Lions Park from 11 to 2 p.m. And also our program totals for May, we had 7 programs and events and 1 outreach with a total of 291 community engagements. And year to date, we've had 35 programs and 565 engagements. And facility rental totals for May, we had 57 total with 36 private rentals and 21 internal or nonprofit uses. And we collected a total of $1,660. And we have a year-to-date total of 193 total rentals with 94 private and 99 internal and nonprofit, and a total fee collection of $6,725.
So you see that on the upward?
Yes,
It's
yep.
increasing.
Can you just define what engagements are? Is that like number of people that were at the events?
Yeah, that can be, if it's one of our programs, that would be participants. But if it's a outreach program, that's people that we handed flyers to, talk to, we count all of those people. So a lot of those engagements from May came from the Touch a Truck event at Brimfield Elementary.
Okay. That's good, Cassie.
Yep, and that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Joe, information technology.
I have nothing new to bring to the board at this time. I'm working on a lot of stuff, but I have nothing that is ready to present.
Wow. I didn't know we'd be out this early.
Shh, don't curse it.
I'm kidding, you don't. Okay. Cemetery.
Oh, we've got work today at the cemetery. We got some good news.
Okay.
And our cemetery committee has been working about 3 months on the cemetery fee schedule. So at this time, I'm gonna turn this over to Holly and to.
Yes, I'll take it. So first item on the agenda, the board approval needed to discontinue bequest flower program due to lack of funding. So some time ago, there was a bequest flower program for about 15 grave sites. There was a total of $200 that was in this fund. And I think this has been out there for probably 50 plus years and no additional funding has gone. So we've been out of that $200 for quite some time. So the flowers have just been at the expense of the township. So at this point, we are requesting to discontinue that flower program because there's not funds to support it.
Well, I think what happened is the people that put this funding together, most of them have passed away. So there's no funding coming in for that. It's not that we're just saying we don't want to do this anymore. So I'd like to have a motion.
You're gonna make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
That we bring our paperwork up to date.
How much do you think we've been spending on the flower program annually?
You know, Jendy?
I would say close to $200.
It's close.
$200.
About $200 a
Yeah,
year.
yeah. And that's in addition to the other flowers used to decorate the cemetery. That's in addition to like
The landscaping.
from the Boy Scouts that we purchased from, which is like $200, and then some extras things that we get as well. But $200 is about what the bequest is. We tried to stay in that $200 was started. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, so.
I'm just, I mean, at $200, do we really want to, I mean, it's not a lot of money there. Is it really worth getting rid of the program, or is it just kind of looking for some feedback? Because I was expecting it to be much higher.
I know I don't like to ever ask anyone from the audience, but Chip has been with us for so long. Can you give us any update on what it was?
Originally, when that was, they took money from the people, and I don't remember how much it is. It was put in a fund. That fund was supposed to buy flowers for those few graves that we had forever. Now, I don't know whether you can quit it or not without going through some legal process to see what's going on. I would check that to be sure.
I think it was, what, like 15 families?
15.
No, there isn't that many.
No, there's 16.
Originally.
There's 15.
There's 16.
16.
When?
No, that's what I have on my list from all the
Yeah,
years.
but when did they add it all?
No,
Oh, since before I came.
Like, maybe 8 or 9.
oh, that was pretty much the list we got from you. From down there, but it was, there was,
Did you collect any money for the ones you added to?
I am not aware of when people were added. I think it's been quite some time since anybody was added.
oh,
but
this is from the original list.
This is,
It was 16 on counting.
Are they,
Okay.
Original list?
The list that I got handed to me back in 2014.
So they
And I
pay,
think when
they
we-
pay a fee to have flowers for life?
originally they paid into this fund, but my understanding was it was around $200 in this fund, and then we just continued to pay this. But the
interest-
funding
at
was
that time,
not.
interest was higher. And that they put this money in a pot, and then the interest would go in there. And then for these people that were listed, our guys for Memorial Day, they would put flowers on these. But in the meantime, what's happened, they've all passed away, as far as I can see.
Yeah, but they still haven't back into the family that put it in there.
we probably.
I think my concern, I think we need to table this
Okay.
further, because if we entered into an agreement with somebody to say, hey, it may have been a bad agreement on our end, but we may have said, hey, for $20, you're gonna have flowers for life here, and they paid the $20, and then we stopped doing it, we're not
Sure.
really holding up that end, so I think we need more clarification
Okay. Well,
on that bequest flower fund before we
You
can
know,
do
I did not attend.
All I know is that we've gotten no more funding, since, I started, I think in 2015. There's been no additional funding coming in. Nothing ever from, any family member.
Were
I've
they-
had no communication from any family member about that. It's just,
Were they required to pay annually into this fund?
no,
What are you talking about?
no, but I'm just saying that there were no donations, there was no communication, there was never any, and I do believe that, from when I came in 2015 and did research, that the original amount was, some people paid $10 and a couple paid $20.
Jenny, is there a contract that says this is a lifetime?
I found no, well, there may be, I haven't found one, but I did find the list of people. But I could go back, because I'm sure I still have those records. They're still somewhere, those records are somewhere.
So at this point,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
do a little more, research on this, see what we can find, review it with, the attorneys, and we'll bring it for the next meeting.
Yeah, table this.
That's good.
Originally, it was called a bequest fund,
Right.
and I don't know how we got up to 15 or 16 people, there shouldn't be
Oh,
that many in there.
That was the original list that I got handed.
That's way too many.
Are they founding fathers, or
Pardon me?
are they founding fathers? I mean, is it part of the early Brimfield history?
Sure. I
The
don't know,
families?
I don't know when it went back, I just know it was called a flower request fund, and there was like, probably, how many people were on there? It was like, probably 7 or 8 people, maybe 9 people on it. Because we buy flowers for them.
I think we should.
All right.
Yeah, you'll look into it.
We will, yep, we'll follow up at the next meeting.
Okay, that's good.
The next item I have, looking for board approval to adjust the cemetery fee schedule to be effective upon approval by the board. So before you, you have 2 sheets. One is a spreadsheet. Jendi did some research and pulled the fee schedule for some of the surrounding cemeteries. And you'll see here just the items in red on this spreadsheet are proposed new rates. And you also have before you just this sheet that just gives the side by side. But the cemetery committee met and reviewed all this data, and the numbers in red are what we're proposing. We are not proposing any changes to the columbarium. We don't have a lot of people purchasing niches in the columbarium, so we don't want to raise those prices. And looking at the amounts, it's pretty comparable to some of the other lower priced. But the part of the purpose for this is, and you'll see that some of the non-resident fees are much higher what we have found, I just got a call the other day from someone who was just calling to find out about non-resident prices because they said to us that we're the cheapest in the area. So they're looking to, you know, push non-residents here just because the cost is so low. So looking at all of these other cemeteries, our costs were significantly lower. And looking at what some of the other cemeteries charge for non-residents seem to justify those price increases for our fee schedule.
Also regarding the columbarium, we actually did lower the cost for the columbarium because we aren't selling them. So I've had no inquiries on them. So speaking with the committee members, including John, others, it was a recommendation that we lower the cost and maybe, make it more affordable for people to use that.
Do people ever ask you about it? Do you have a columbarium, or is
No.
it something we need to advertise somehow?
I'm not, that would be up to you, if you wanted to advertise or not. We're not really in the thing to make profit. So,
I guess my concern would be going from 700 to 350 for the columbarium. When we originally set the prices, the price point was designed to cover that cost and the cost of the next one, so that we recouped what we paid into it, and then we never had to pay out again.
but if we're not selling them then, do you know what I'm saying?
So, but my concern is-
750 can be fine, but if you're not selling them,
But if
then,
you sell them all at 350, right? and
Right.
That breaks us even, then we gotta fund it again if we build another one, because now we say, well, look, everybody wants these. Have we done that cost analysis to see if we sell all of them at 350, does that break us even? Does it bring some money into for the next piece? Where does that sit?
well, I don't know, we went half because,
This was the committee.
So
The
John
committee.
is part of the committee,
Right.
in looking at this, and that's what we did not adjust the prices for the opening and closing, but the sales. And I thought he said it was a break even. I don't know.
I thought he did too,
Yeah.
because he said he needs to sell them.
Yeah.
That was his, we need to
Which I'm
sell
fine,
them.
but I just
Yeah.
don't want all of a sudden I see sales go up, right? Because cost goes down, and then the cemetery board comes back to us and says, well, buy another one. Well, then we gotta front that whole cost again, and that puts us in that position. So I wanted to make sure, number one, we're breaking even on the cost that we've implemented into this program. And then two, what is that plan?
Well, I think if we would see that, I mean, I guess we could pass, any resolution's as good as the next resolution.
Yeah, so that's what we discussed as the committee, that if for some reason, everyone's like, oh yeah, now I want the columbarium and it sells out, then we would reevaluate and come back with a price adjustment if we were at a point where
Well,
we
you
want.
know, when we built that there, we made it so we could put 2 more of those columns right there. So there's plenty
But it's the
Money there
cost,
for the
right?
future.
Just because we can build it doesn't mean we have the money for it, and that was that price point. That's what I'm trying to
So
figure.
the other thing is, just most recently, we had a request to allow a headstone that actually has the columbarium in them. So people it's got they're all different, but some of them have 4 compartments where you can put the cremains. So I don't know if that's a trend where more people might be going to that, because I think it's a little better use of funds and you're kind of keeping everybody together by one grave site, and as long as the dimensions of that headstone, are appropriate for that grave, then they can put multiple cremains in there. So I think that we might see more of that coming along. And as we looked at some of the other cemeteries, they have all of them are seeing some of that. So, it could be a change in that we don't have just freestanding columbariums. It could be these graves that have them as well.
And I guess my other question then, outside the columbariums, is resident versus non-resident. So if resident buys a gravesite at the $500 proposed fee, but then moves away, is their opening and closing cost then going to be that $1,250? How do we determine resident versus non-resident when they do opening and closing?
I don't know. How do you handle that?
Yeah, okay, how I normally do it is kind of on a case-by-case basis, actually. If a resident has left the area and for nursing home care, something like that, okay, then, and if they're gone less than a year, or a year and a half, I generally do less than a year, I consider them still a resident. Okay, anything after a year, I do charge them the non-resident rate, especially if their address, if they still have their home here, then yes, they're still a resident, whether they're living with their daughter in Florida or whatever. They're still a resident because they still have their home here. So
It's just a
that's how I
substantial,
do
before
it.
it was $100 difference, now we're looking at, what, $750 difference?
Yeah, and I mean, like, so I'll use Talmadge as an example, you know, when we were looking at these, we really kind of honed in on the closer ones, but Talmadge, for an example, opening and closing weekday, residents is 1,000, non-residents is 2,200. So theirs is a $1,200 difference. So, and understanding that, I think they're a dedicated cemetery. So, you know, we took a lot of things into consideration in that, but you do see that some of them, not all of them, some of them are significantly higher.
I would just suggest maybe in your documentation somewhere, defining resident versus non-resident then, because I think you might get a little more pushback when you see that substantial cost difference. Because like Jenny said, well, 12 months, maybe 16 months, 18 months, just depends on the scenario. And I think then you need to really define that in the rules.
We'll just bring it back to that cemetery board and they can work on it.
Yeah, that would just be my recommendation back to my work, really define that.
How many residents do we have?
Okay, we've sold two pieces, two,
In the whole one?
in the columbarium, there's been 2 sales before I came here. Just an FYI on the columbarium is that you can only put 1 cremains per niche in that particular columbarium. So that's what I'm saying is that there's only been 2 sold. And
So maybe it is
so
price point.
that's the reason, and
Yeah, maybe it is a price point, so.
well, it is, I'll tell you, it's a price point because what people are saying to me is, you know, we allow 1 traditional and 3 cremains per grave that we sell, or 4 cremains per grave. And so why would they pay that kind of money for a columbarium niche for 1? That's what I'm hearing. So that's why I brought it up, but.
Can you just bring back to the board the break-even point at the next meeting? Just let us know if we're breaking even on that columbarium at that 350 point.
So then, are you gonna make a motion that we table this then?
I mean, one motion is good as the next one, so if we want to move forward, I just want to hear back just from fiscal bit. Are we breaking even or are we losing money on this piece and do we need to reevaluate that one line?
Well, then, Sue, do you wanna make a motion?
So
Okay, so what is the motion? Are we
We're
tabling it?
No, we're gonna go ahead and approve the cemetery fee schedules, 2024.
table that.
Huh?
We're gonna table it.
No, we'll make a motion to approve it,
Okay,
and then we have to change it.
we can.
Oh, and we'll change, okay, I
So
understand.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
Okay. Okay, I need a second.
Need a second?
second, I'll second that.
Okay. Nick,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes,
And that's all for the cemetery.
Okay, so you're gonna do fiscal, or? Ally?
Yes, so board approval is needed on the request for the second half of the 2024 advances from the Portage County auditors.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for second half 2024 advances.
I'll second.
Oh, go
Sue
ahead.
seconded.
Good.
Motion? Oh, I'm sorry, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion.
Well, I think we got it wrong. I guess I'll make a motion that we go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Sue? Yes. Nick,
Yes.
and Mike.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Okay.
See how good those ladies are?
Like,
Like,
response on, go to the order.